for Monday, January 27th, 2025. I am Chrisanne Mitchell. In the headlines, government procures equipment and material to boost learning in textiles, clothing, and fashion in secondary schools. And literacy program launched in 4 primary schools in St. David. Details of these stories and more after the break. Welcome back. 4 schools within the parish of St. David, St. Theresa's RC, St. Dominic's RC, St. Joseph RC, and
we take 0.5% of the millions of dollars we generate in the room's revenue here at the resort. And we've chosen literacy for this is the benchmark of the many funds to come. So as we generate more revenue, we're going to diversify into literacy, environment, community, what have you. So we have an extensive way of vetting out the NGOs that we partner with, these international programs that are not only certified, but they could manage both the funds and measure the funds as well.
David said that the program is likely to extend to other schools.
The more we grow, the schools chosen are always generally like an epicenter around us. So we chose, and we've had a panel of people choosing the schools, both of need and both of community. You know, from the parish of St. David, we generally always try to work on our parish first because that's our local community. So as it grows, we might diversify into more schools and more initiatives, more grades, everything like that.
Director of Sustainability at Six Senses, Chrisma McDonald, said that Six Senses prides themselves in bringing sustainable efforts.
At Six Senses, sustainability is a holistic concept. From the guidelines we use in our different departments, which encourage and ensure that the commitment we've made to our environment is hold fast and true, to the way that we engage with our guests and our hosts, to the activities that we've hosted throughout the year. Only last year alone, we had 186 hosts engaging in cleanups of our beach. We had a total of 618 kilograms of waste being collected. While this is sad, because it means that we do have a lot of waste, it still needs to be celebrated because we now have 618 kilograms of waste that's no longer on our shores. At Six Senses, the approach to sustainability is by really looking at our 3 Ps, and that means people, planet, and profit. When we talk about people, we're really talking about our engagement in forums like these and in our workshops with our community.
Amanda Sherlip, Hands Across the Seas Executive Director, also spoke at the launch.
That we can make big dreams come to life. And all of you who we serve, the teachers, the parents, and most especially the children, you have been an inspiration. Your passion, dedication, desire, imagination, and creativity have inspired us to commit and deliver on big promises. We know when children's literacy is a priority, everyone benefits. This is such an exciting partnership to launch with Six Senses. When I first connected with Six Senses and Chrisma, I was immediately drawn in by their deep commitment to wellness and their holistic approach to fostering well-being from the inside out. Whether for their guests, their partners, their staff, or community, this philosophy can be felt throughout their entire property.
Principal of the St. Martin de Porres RC School, Kester Lyons, applauds the Six Senses and partner for the initiative, which he describes as a good start.
I think it's a very good initiative, and starting at the preschool, as the parent earlier on indicated, it's giving them an opportunity to interact with print material very early, and we believe that that's a good start for them from now going into the future. So I think it's a very good initiative, and I want to applaud Hands Across the Sea and Six Senses Hotel for that initiative. I believe it augurs well for our students, and they would definitely benefit.
4 females among the 10 finalists have been chosen to contest the final of the National Celebrations Committee's Independence Monarch competition scheduled for Saturday, February 1st, 8 p.m. at the Sates Bus Terminal. The The selection came after a panel of judges adjudicated 20 of the top selections submitted from the preliminaries of the competition during the semi-final round on Saturday evening at the Lasages playing field. The finalists are Burgess McPhee and Cheryl Vincent, Lady Cheryl, Teacher Eddie, Big J, Superstar, Papa Jerry, Rootsman Kelly, Prince, Royalty, Sour Serpent with the standby Top Cat. The semi-final had in attendance lovers of the art form, including Cultural Minister Senator Adrian Thomas. He spoke with the GIS on conclusion of the semi-final round of competition.
I'm very happy to see the level of enthusiasm from the Calypsonians and the support they got from the public. The calypsos were well written, the melodies were spectacular, and I think that the backing of the police band adds a lot to the show.
Senator Thomas also used the opportunity to encourage Grenadians to come out and support the activities of the NCC to mark the country's 51st anniversary of independence.
I know that the level of enthusiasm from the 50th anniversary is not the same for the 51st anniversary, but I want to encourage Grenadians to come out in the numbers. It is a celebration. It is 51 years of independence, and it's something to celebrate. I want them to come out to support all the activities throughout the island, especially on Independence Day itself. We will be having a guest speaker from Africa, all the way in Africa. You will hear more about it during the course of the week, but I really and truly want the people to come out and support the independence celebration.
The monarch will walk away with the coveted crown and $15,000, second position $12,000, third position $10,000, fourth position $8,000, and positions 5th to 10th will receive an appearance fee of $3,000. The NCC Independence Monarch Final will be broadcast live via the GIS social media platforms, Channel 22, and the National Celebrations Committee Facebook page. Continuing the news, the Ministry of Education procured and distributed materials valued at approximately EC $120,000 to provide an adequate learning environment for secondary school students engaged in textiles, clothing, and fashion. The distribution took place at a Technical Vocational and Education Training TVET Teachers Workshop earlier this month at Westall Secondary School in St. David. The ministry anticipates that the provision of these supplies will lessen the economic burden on students who would like to pursue the subject but are deterred by the cost of materials. 23 teachers were empowered through group sessions where they developed questions for the 2026 school-based assessment, which is done in Form 4 during the last term of the academic school year. Items distributed included sewing machines, sergers, irons, ironing boards, hot plates, pots, buckets, measuring tools, cutting tools, marking tools, and other small sewing tools, dyes for batik and tie-dye, paint, and fabric. 20 secondary schools benefited from the endeavor: St. John's Christian Secondary, St. Rose Modern Secondary, St. Mark's Secondary, MacDonald College, Grenada SDA Comprehensive, Grenada Christian Academy, St. Andrew's Anglican Secondary, Grenville Secondary, St. Joseph's Convent St. Andrew, St. David's Catholic Secondary, Westerhall Secondary, Grenada Boys Secondary, Anglican High School, J.W. Fletcher Catholic School, St. Joseph's Convent St. George's, Wesley College, Boca Secondary, Happy Hills Secondary, Hillsborough Secondary, and Bishop's College. The Ministry of Education will continue training teachers to develop their competencies and to promote TVET by hosting an extravaganza to showcase students and teacher skills. This is the GIS News. More news when we return.
If there's one thing we know for sure, life is an unpredictable journey, full of twists and turns, but no matter where it takes you, the National Insurance Scheme is here, ready to support you every step of the way. Sickness benefits ensures that you can focus on recovery, not financial stress. Maternity allowance and grant provides essential support to start your beautiful journey of parenthood. The unemployment benefits act as a safety net, giving you peace of mind during challenging times. Employment injuries can be daunting, but NIS provides comprehensive coverage, including injury benefit, medical expenses, disablement, and death benefits. At NIS, your well-being is priority. Now you can face challenges confidently, knowing that support is just a claim away. Contact us today to find out more about the range of benefits or visit our website at www.nisgrenada.org.
Are you thinking about buying a vehicle? Did you find a company on social media? Stop. It may be a scam. Look out for the following red flags. Is the price lower than other dealers? Does it seem too good to be true? Are you sending the monies to the US even though you are ordering the vehicle from Japan? Does the address on the invoice match the address on the payment details? Are conversations limited to WhatsApp text? Is there a sense of urgency placed on you by the seller? You are about to be scammed. Do not take your hard-earned cash or even worse, a loan to send to these scammers. Once the money leaves Grenada's shores, you are not likely to get it back. Consider buying a vehicle already on island from an individual or a car dealer. Beware of these scammers. If in doubt, it's best to stay out. A message from the Financial Intelligence Unit.
Welcome back. Grenadian farmers and other stakeholders will soon have the opportunity to access data from soil testing as the Produce Chemist Laboratory has been equipped to do so and local stakeholders have been trained to operate the equipment. The supplies were donated as part of the Caribbean Small Island Developing States Multi-Country Soil Management Initiative for Integrated Landscape Restoration and Climate Resilient Food Systems Project, Soil Care, implemented by the Partnership Initiative for Sustainable Land Management. The project is funded by the Global Environment Facility with support from the Food and Agriculture Organization. Chief Analytical Chemist Erwin Henry explains that the country will be able to test over 10 parameters of soil.
Under the Soil Care project, Grenada received close to $35,000 worth of equipment under the Soil Care project to develop a soil testing unit at the Produce Chemist Laboratory. To date, since we received the equipment, we were able to receive technical skills training in Trinidad. So in December last, there was a one-week training at UE in Trinidad where an agronomist and myself as the chemist went down to Trinidad to do laboratory training so we can utilize the equipment in the way the project intends that it should be used. The training was very good. It was well planned, and there was a lot of practical knowledge that was imparted on us. So today what we are doing is to trying to organize so we can start implementing some of the training that was conducted in Trinidad in relation to soil testing in Grenada. The hope is by the end of February, we'll have our soil unit up and running so we can start delivering services to the farmers who are interested in soil testing.
Henry says the lab provides the opportunity for more effective fertilizer recommendation.
Training also looked at recommending a fertilizer based on the results from the soil testing, which is critical because we know sometimes everybody are interested in applying fertilizer to the soil, and most times they don't know what is the correct fertilizer to be applied. So this training imparted the knowledge of recommending the correct fertilizer choice based on the results of the soil analysis.
Last year, the Produce Chemist Lab received equipment to allow for testing of over 10 parameters, including standard operating procedures, quality assurance, and quality control. The new capacity to standardize will support quality assurance and control in labs, and when conducting field activities for soil testing, will directly contribute to integrated landscape management and the restoration of degraded lands, ultimately strengthening food systems and improving food security across the region. By promoting sustainable land management practices, the Soil Care project is helping to build climate-resilient agriculture and preserve the long-term viability of the region's natural resources. A reception marking the 20th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the People's Republic of China and Grenada was held last Friday as part of the celebrations to mark the historic milestone. The celebrations began earlier in January with Prime Minister's official visit to China. Following the success of that visit, the celebrations transitioned to the reception held at the Radisson Crown Ballroom. Dignitaries from both countries were entertained with special cultural performances during Friday's reception. Ambassador Wei Hongxiang, ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Grenada, reaffirmed China's commitment to support Grenada in key areas.
We will continue to be good partners and good friends of mutual respect and mutual trust. China is ready to work with Grenada to uphold mutual respect and trust, firmly support each other's core interests, safeguard each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. China supports Grenada in independently exploring a development path that suits its national conditions and is ready to strengthen the exchange of governance experience with Grenada.
Prime Minister Mitchell expressed gratitude for the partnership that has blossomed over the years. He attributed the strong bond between nations to mutual respect and cooperation.
Grenada and China does not have the same political system. In some regards, we do not necessarily have the same economic system. Notwithstanding the differences in population, notwithstanding the differences in culture, notwithstanding the differences in language or economic development, our relationship is in fact based on one of mutual respect for each other. Despite the size differences, Grenada and China's bilateral relationship has always been based on respect, solidarity, friendship, non-intervention in each other's internal affairs, and the respect for individual sovereignty.
Prime Minister said the 14 agreements that were signed upon his earlier visit are opportunities to build on the relationship that was established years ago.
20 years later, we need to plant a tree knowing that some of us will not be able to benefit from the fruit or from the shade of that tree. But we must still plant that tree because someone else planted a tree 20 years ago, and we're all benefiting from that today. The 14 bilateral agreements signed between the government and people of China and the government and people of Grenada is an opportunity to plant 14 trees that can endure and blossom and grow for the next generation of Grenadians and Chinese.
Finally, in the news, in an effort to enhance cocoa production and maximize the benefits for local farmers and chocolate producers, a comprehensive 5-day training workshop is being held in Grenada, focusing on improving skills and techniques in the cocoa industry. The training, organized by the University of the West Indies Cocoa Research Center, guided participants through various aspects of cocoa production at the Grenada Cocoa Association's chocolate factory. In collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization and the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources, the UE Cocoa Research Center introduced game-changing techniques to address the challenges faced by Grenadian farmers. The training targeted cocoa farmers, agronomists, extension officers, and local chocolatiers, offering a mix of practical and theoretical sessions. Topics explored included improving cocoa quality, boosting productivity, and using better planting materials to ensure higher yields and improved resilience to environmental changes. Professor Path U. Maharan, head of the UE team, emphasized the importance of these training sessions in building the capacity of the local cocoa industry.
Grenada is facing a lot of challenges. Grenada has enormous potential for cocoa and it has done really well in terms of chocolate production and distribution. But the whole value chain depends on the sustainability of the cocoa farms. And increasingly we are facing challenges with regards to hurricanes and so on, and the farmer is not being very profitable as a result. So we need to really bring mitigation strategies for climate change in terms of cadmium in the soil, drier conditions, more drought tolerance, deeper root systems. So the whole idea is really Grenada has a potential, but it has a lot of challenges in meeting the potential. And how can we overcome those challenges so that Grenada can really meet its potential in cocoa and chocolates?
Agronomist in the Ministry of Agriculture and National Focal Point for Cocoa, Kason Charles, says this holistic session benefited each participant in their individual way.
The takeaway sentence is that it's not business as usual. We now are paying more attention to our clones, to our propagation, to our planting material. We have a lot more understanding of issues like cadmium. We have a lot more understanding of what we need to do regarding disease management. Yes, we had a very large curriculum that we had to cover over 5 days. I believe that everything was covered. I believe that everyone here had an advantage from this meaningful impact that was endowed on us. The chocolatiers left with a lot of information regarding fermentation and sensory, a lot of information regarding drying. The extension officers left with a lot regarding disease management. We have now even more information regarding black pod and witches brew management. The producers left with a lot of information regarding cadmium management and overall soil health.
Food technologist and research fellow at the Cocoa Research Center, Dr. Darren Suka, said the training was paramount to Grenada reaching its fullest economic potential.
We went through the sort of mechanics of how to carry out a fermentation, what to look for to optimize the endpoint and that sweet spot of flavor development, and how we can carry that through on to drying as we have here, and further quality in terms of storage, how we assess and monitor quality, and how we can appreciate the flavor notes that we can now communicate to our buyers for our beans and communicate to our chocolate makers to have them express that potential in their products for the local market and for the foreign market, for the tourism sector and for export. And there's a lot of work to do. We've started a process. We're building on the existing knowledge that is resident here in Grenada, and we want to see the young people become more involved in the informed way that we can approach the cocoa value chain, capturing the climate smart approaches, carbon sensitive approaches to cocoa farming, and a holistic quality appreciation for our cocoa beans and value added products.
One of the participants of the training, Aaron Sylvester, owner of Tri Island Chocolate, expresses his gratitude for the knowledge that was extended to him over the 5 days. He speaks of the changes he will make to his operations at his chocolate factory.
It's definitely going to help us in terms of improving our HACCP protocols that we have, and just improving generally our practices, because when I do go into the field, it allows me to have more education to then educate some of the workers we work with, and farmers that I work with as well, about knowing certain things that we've been told to do within our industry and just been told to do from our grandparents, and now having a bit more of an updated knowledge about why we should do these things. And that for me is where there's maybe been that missing link. I've always been told to kind of ferment my cocoa for 7 days, and that's just been the guide. And now I've learned in this workshop, it doesn't necessarily have to be 7. There's certain protocols and temperatures and levels to look for and check, and maybe it can be done in 4 to 5 days and not 7 days. So that for me is definitely the biggest takeaway that I took away from the workshop.
The UE team plans to submit a policy brief to the government outlining the proposed strategies and recommendations for enhancing the country's cocoa sector. This brings us to the end of the GIS news for Monday, January 27th, 2025. On behalf of the entire news and production team here at the Government Information Service, I am Chris Ann Mitchell saying thank you for viewing.